Have you guys seen this ghost photo taken at El Paso High School in Texas? I get emails sent to me all the time about haunted things that's happened to people, and this one took place at El Paso High School, and in the first, correspondence, she acted like I should know about this place, but I'd never heard of it before, so I looked into it, and oh my gosh, this place is super hella haunted. If you're like me and you've never heard of it, it's actually like a really cool place. It's still a school today. It had a basement that was used as like a morgue during the Spanish flu and during the war and all this stuff. It's like all kinds of stuff. So there's this story of this lady in white that apparently back in like 1922, she unalived herself and then jumped out of the window. Well, now she haunts the place and people get her in photos all of the time like this one. So this is the photo, how it was like actually posted when somebody took the photo or whatever, but I tilted it to make it more like where it's actually like you're looking in the window, and I lightened it, and then I got this. What the hell? You can see how she's kind of like wispy right here. You can see her tiny waist and her face, and if you zoom in on that, it looks like she's screaming, okay? And that's important for the story. But before that, let me show you another famous ghost photo from there. So this is a class photo that was taken in 1985, and they said that they don't know who the hell this is. This is so scary because to me, it looks exactly like the photo of the ghost girl in the other one, right? This one looks very much like this. Ugh. Remember how I told you about the basement, about the hallway, and about the morgue and all of that? Well, Olivia sends me this email about the time that her and her friend Maria decided to go down there. She didn't really want to. She said she knew it was a bad idea, but Maria was like, come on, let's go. It'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? So apparently they had to like break a lock to get down there. Maria was like, no problem, I can do that. So they get down there. They're walking around the tunnel. It's pitch black. She said it's like cold. She can feel like an eeriness to it. And then they could hear like a tap, tap, tap. She just tells herself like, okay, what's tapping is our footsteps. It's just like a delay because it's the hallway. So she just kind of like tries to ignore it, but it just keeps getting louder and louder. Like whatever it is following them down the hallway. And she said she started hearing like whispers, and it sounded like someone was saying her name, but she could tell that it wasn't Maria, but it sounded like it was coming from Maria. So she taps her on the shoulder and she's like, do you hear that? And she said that when Maria turned around, her face looked different. And immediately she's like, okay, I'm just trying to scare myself. Like, she's not possessed or anything. I'm just hyping myself up. But Maria was acting weird. So she like spun around and they start back down the hallway. That's when they hear crying, like little kid crying noises, and they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And at first they thought someone might have went down there and got stuck or something, but then they were like, no, because we had to break the lock. And they're like, oh yeah. So they keep going, and they get down to this room that's like chained off or whatever. Could hear someone crying, clearly like a little girl crying on the other side of the door. So Maria calls out to her and she's like, hey, who's in there? What's happening? Can we help you or whatever? And the crying just gets like louder and louder. Well, that's when she said that Maria became obsessed with trying to get this door open, but she could tell that it was just off. She said that she could hear the crying too, but she didn't think that it was real. She already knew that it was like haunted down there. So she was convinced that this was like a ghost or whatever. And she said, and that's when she was like, okay, I'm going to leave you down here. I'm going to leave you down here by yourself. Like you asked for it. I'm sorry. I'm going to leave you. So she turns to leave because she can't get Maria to come with her. And then that's when she sees this woman in white that looks like the girl in the photo that's just standing at the end of the hallway. And she said she's like standing there, like with her like hair hanging down, and she said she had these big black holes where her eyes should be, and her mouth was open like she was screaming, but no noise was coming out. In the email that she should have screamed or something, but no noise came out. She was just standing there staring at this woman that was at the end that was just like taking steps towards them, but no noise was coming out. And the entire time Maria's got her back to her, and she's trying to get this door open because she could hear the little girl crying on the other. So she said she reached back and she's like hitting at Maria like, turn around, look, oh my God, like there's some woman down here. Finally, she gets her attention. She turns around, she sees her too, and she like screams out, and she just bolts, like leaves Olivia. She just takes off. Olivia said as soon as she heard Maria like start hauling ass down the hallway, she was right behind her. So they start going down this hallway and they like make a turn or do something. I don't know. She said she can't even remember, but they like ended up back where they started. And to this day, she said that they don't talk about it, that she won't go back to the school or anything, but she said it looked exactly like the photos of the woman. She said it was just like this one and this one. Notice how the eyes are like really darked out. Did you know about El Paso? Have you had any experiences there? I want to hear all about them because there's a lot more that I'll be telling soon.